It's a great show, great show. So thank you all for allowing me to be here. What happens in this house stays in this house. These words were uttered often by my abusive stepfather, a man who dedicated years to abusing my mother and tormenting me because I was not his child. It took her nearly 18 years to leave, and she had to wait until the children were older and reaching high school graduation age. My mother tried to leave her abuser many times, and each time she decided to stay, she lost another support. I can still hear their complaints now. We are tired of helping her. If she wanted to leave, she would have left by now. My stepfather would threaten us and use money and his fist to rule. I would often wonder, if he is here, who's running hell? I always thought my story was unique. I always thought that the American dream existed in everyone else's home but mine. However, I do not need to tell this audience that it is documented that 1 out of 3 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. I do not need to reiterate that it takes a victim of domestic violence 8 times of bouncing back and forth to the abuser until they leave. So, I was shocked when it was suggested that I join the Safe & Sound team. I was even more shocked to learn that I will be working the overnight shift as a safe space shelter for victims of domestic violence, and many of these violence victims being women who are fleeing their abusive male partners. If it is not apparent, but I am a cisgender male. I'm a guy. I'm a male. I have a son. I even cried at the end of Old Yeller. And when I started losing my hair, I really bust down in tears. And for men out there who are losing your hair, you know what I'm going through. I cried. I'm a man. You look good. But, however, once I was offered the per diem role, I did not know what to do, and even considered not accepting the position because I did not know what to expect. I remember trying my hardest to overly be flamboyant, and trying to stay cooped up in my office on my first night flying solo because I did not want the women to be frightened by me. I wanted them to be safe in their space. I understand how important it is to have a safe space. So my first night, knock, knock, and I'm in my office and knock, knock. What do I do? Knock, knock. Are you there? I open the door and there's a young female. How may I help you? She explains that she needs a key to the pantry. And I'm like, why? Why do you need a key to the pantry? I'm here to help. How can I help you? She explained that she needed a pad. I said, you don't need to go to the pantry for a pad. We have college rules, we have wide rules, we even have a pad that has inspirational quotes. She looked at me strange, embarrassed, and then she whispered, she was like, a tampon, pad. Oh. Yes, I should have known that, right? Yes, yes. We both laughed as I stumbled over my words and was so eager to assist. She cut me some slack, and she asked, could we talk? As a licensed clinician, I understood the power of just listening. I encouraged her to talk, and I just listened. I did not judge. I listened. I did not assume. I listened. and allowed her an opportunity to just talk and be heard. Many nights, the women would crowd around the table and talk about their situations, and we would all just laugh. Odd, I know. Why would anyone laugh about an abusive situation? Because laughter is medicine, and there is power in laughter. These women would share their story for the first time in raw form and express how good it felt to just laugh after so many years of crying. There would be some nights when I would have an individual listening session and remind women that they can do it, and it was anything they were told they could not do. I would receive thank you letters from residents who left the shelter. They would highlight how Safe and Sound saved their life, how every single staff that were present interacted with them, listened to the problems, how the shelter did not resemble your stereotypical shelter, but how it was a home where the blinds are opened up every morning, a place where you are not the judge, a place where you can go shopping and you don't have to explain yourself. You can buy whatever you want, a place where your children can play with other children, and you can sit down with a caseworker and talk about stabilization, talk about building a bridge, define what will normalcy mean for your children and your family. It was observing moments like these when I knew that it would take a community of supportive and encouraging men like myself to work alongside the many courageous women working on the front lines to call attention to the long-term traumatic effect intimate partner violence has on individuals and families, which sometimes lasts generations. This cycle needs to break. It needs to end. We need to hear the voices of men. We need to see men in the trenches advocating against domestic violence. And we need to feel the impact of what monetary contribution can do. Not only to reduce the number of tragic stories, but also to provide financial support. Many of our clients need to move forward in establishing a safer life. So, I humbly stand before you all, bald head and all. Would you consider joining me today in two ways? Volunteering and providing a monetary gift to Safe+Sound Somerset. Accepting the role as a per diem residential DV advocate has a monumental impact on me. It truly does take a village to make change in our community. So, I'll leave you with these last words to process as you're driving home tonight. What is courage? What defines a courageous act? It is said that the brave and the cowardly persons are both fearful. However, it is the brave who face his fears and does what needs to be done. We will be faced with many things that scare us throughout our lives. How can we become the kind of people that face our fears and do it anyway? Human growth. Human growth takes place when we take small steps. Each time we face our fears, we become more of the courageous person that we would like to be. As that being said, I thank you for your time. I thank you for this opportunity. I just simply